Hey, what's up, everyone? And yeah, I know I sound a little stuffy and nasally. I have a bad cold. That's something to look forward to. And coming back from where else? Universal Orlando. I don't think I have to give a full attraction review because that's not what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm just doing a more up-to-date version of a couple of new rides that you're probably wondering what I think of them. So, yeah, obviously there's going to be some spoilers in this, and keep in mind, just my opinion, people. Don't go apeshit if you don't agree. Start out with, well, more or less the same ride that I've reviewed before, but and every other coaster in this park, like the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Dragon Challenge, as well as this one, the Incredible Hulk, all have metal detectors, you should probably know. So if you have your cell phones, anything, you gotta put them in a locker, or if you're with somebody that's not riding, just give them to them because you're not going to get them through. I guess they are concerned about bringing anything like that, change, anything, and becoming injurious to crowds, you know, because of the loops and big drops and stuff and falling out of people's pockets or people trying to film rides. Obviously, I'm not one of those people that does that kind of thing anymore, or pretty much never nowadays. So, yeah, it's not a bad idea, so that's a catch with those rides. But as for the Incredible Hulk, yeah, you probably noticed it's been closed for a while for refurbishment, and now it's been open since pretty much late last summer, I believe it was. And all I have to say is, I went on it a few times, and it is fantastic. I do love the old version. I do miss all the features in the older version before they revamped it. Took every single piece of track out and pretty much put new cars in, a new entrance, everything, the launch hill as you're going up, and even added speakers in the cars as well. So, yeah, definitely give it a go. I mean, it sounds and looks even better, I think, than before. So, just as good as always. The track design is pretty much the same as before, but trains, the entrance, it's superb. Definitely give it a good roar for that ride. It's definitely worth it. Not going to critique it, just give it a go. As for another ride, jumping into Universal Studios, I should say. I know I'm jumping the gun here. Twister, as you know, is gone, and so is Disaster and Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revenue. I'm well aware that's making way for Fast and Furious Supercharged. Yes, both of those rides, I should say. But obviously, I can't give it a review, but it's well worth it to look at how the construction updates are going, as well as seeing props from the Fate of the Furious, which I actually did see, even though I'm not a huge fan of that franchise. But it's cool to see a couple of prop cars from that film. It's really something. And, well, it's set to open next year, so no review on that, obviously. But where Twister used to be, which I will say was good, but I'm not really surprised. I kind of knew that ride was on its way out. In place of it was a really questionable choice, and I didn't really know what to think of this attraction because, first of all, yeah, Jimmy Fallon's Race Through New York in 3D. Yeah, I know it's in the New York City section, which is acceptable for on some terms, but come on, based off a talk show, which I understand is on NBC, and I understand that it's a Comcast company, and that Comcast owns Universal, so they have big ties with this company at Universal Studios. But it's kind of cool to say the least. You know, it's 3D, and it's like you're going through New York City, basically, and on the moon and space and everything. So, as I said, I'm not really a huge fan of Jimmy Fallon. I never really watched this TV show. I've seen a couple of his movies, like the one where he's the Red Sox fan, Fever Pitch. But this ride in general, I'd say was pretty good. Not really anything too superb or anything, but give it a shot. If you don't like it, that's fine. I respect that. I just give it a 0.2 rear notes up. It was a fun time, but that's anybody's opinion whether they like it or not. So, now, of course, the next attraction that I want to talk about, King Kong, or, I'm sorry, Reign of Kong Skull Island. Located right near Jurassic Park, yeah. I can see in Malcolm's right when they said, what do they have in there, King Kong, you know, in the first Jurassic Park movie? No, basically, it's its own section, actually. It's not in any of the sections that pre-existed before this attraction was built. And I am glad to see King Kong make his return after a confrontation unfortunately closed to make room for Revenge of the Mummy, and that was a spectacular attraction. And, of course, you probably know that the other ride that confrontation was based off of, the King Kong Encounter at the Universal Set Tour, which I unfortunately never got to see, only in that 1989 movie, The Wizard. Fortunately, that burned out in 2008 with that big fire, but the confrontation one I did see when I was 5, and it scared the shit out of me. As for this ride itself, obviously it seems like it's more or less a copycat of the King Kong 360 3D one, which I did praise for some aspects. It was pretty good. You know, being that it's based on the Peter Jackson remake, as opposed to the older versions of King Kong in general. So I had anticipation for this one, and I would say it's pretty good. Yeah, went on it a couple times. Of course, I had the express passes, which made definitely great use for any of these new attractions for getting right in, and this one was no exception to that either. It's now, for one thing, there's going to be, as you know, spoilers in this, but to keep it short, sweet, to the point, I wouldn't recommend bringing kids on this ride. Like the movie itself, you know, the Peter Jackson remake in general, it can be very frightening. You got, of course, the queue line is exquisitely superb. Even the entrance as you enter is great. The costumes on the ride operators are great. You know, the people that let you... Obviously, it's a mannequin driving the safari truck, which is what you get on. And you go outside. I don't know if it operates... From what I've heard, because I've only been on it when it was not raining or thundering out, people said it doesn't go outside. But when it goes outside, it's really amazing because you go out, the music plays, you hear the people like they're talking, as if you're going on a safari adventure. You go through the big doors, you hear them chanting Kong, 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 and the dialogue from the person that's supposed to be driving the vehicle is always different too. And I will give credit to the animatronic effects. Like at the beginning, you have the skull, which is, I guess, King Kong's relatives or somebody who passed, another ape that passed on before him. You have the animatronic bats, which are really good, really creepy. And then the rest of it is all 3D screens. Yes, again, it's a 3D ride where you have to wear the glasses, and I know it's kind of tiring for most people, but I give them credit, though. They do have the practical effects that come out of it. Like when the bugs come out and the stuff comes in your face. It is really good because they squirt water at you, like when the bugs gets, chopped up, and then you got the scene of, which is basically taken right out of the 360 tour, right out of Hollywood's version, and well, it's altered a little bit. Instead of the tram set vehicle, it's obviously a safari vehicle, and it is altered a little bit, as you know. The effects are a little bit better, but again, as I know, it's 3D screens, but you get the full effects out of it. Like you feel the dinosaur breathing, they blow air on you when you feel like you're falling, and then of course at the end you have the animatronic King Kong, which looks incredible. So yeah, it does a fantastic job. The music's great, the effects are great. It's definitely a great return for the giant ape, the eighth wonder of the world. If you like Confrontation better, I respect that. And like I said, I know it's annoying that everything's all 3D screen, but I think it's definitely at least worth one visit. The design and everything should not be ignored. It should definitely be acknowledged. I definitely think it gives a good pounding on its chest for a great return for the eighth wonder of the world to Universal. My final verdict: Rock and Blue Remote View Motion Plus up, and the Playing Wheel Remote up. I think that's fair. So, till next time, keep watching.